Hi, I'm Amy. Welcome to the People's Voice. So, I just wanted to talk about the violence that actually broke out at the Trump rally on Thursday here in San Jose. Well, it's a ways from me, but it's not that far away compared to a lot of places. And I just wanted to address that because, basically people who are against Trump got violent with Trump supporters. Now, I acknowledge Trump says a lot of racist things. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. He says a lot of misogynist things. He says things against immigrants. He says things against just about everyone other than straight white males. So that's a problem. Yes, it is. But I really don't know who these people were who acted out violently. I don't know what provoked them. But quite frankly, words should never provoke you to violence. Words should never provoke you to violence. That's not what this is. That's not how this is supposed to work. Of course, the cat's going to talk. But that's not how this is supposed to work. If you let Trump's rhetoric draw you into violence, then he's winning. He's won. He wants you to be violent. He wants you to get angry. You think he's saying this? I mean, maybe he believes it. He probably believes it. I don't know what he believes for sure. But he is saying these inflammatory things specifically in order to enrage those of us who care, about all the people in the world, all of people of different colors, people of different from different countries, and he's trying to get us angry. And quite frankly, it's appropriate to feel a bit angry for what Donald Trump says, but you don't resort to violence. If you resort to violence, you play right into the narrative that he wants. Yes, he wants you to be angry too, but anger is a natural response. Violence is taking it too far. It's a presidential election. I know it's important. It's extremely important. I quite frankly don't know if I'd be able to continue to survive under a Donald Trump presidency, okay? But you don't resort to violence. You can't win with violence. What are you going to do? I mean, let's take it all to extremes, okay? So you say, we'll stop Donald Trump with violence. So what you'd have to do is basically fight until either all of the Donald Trump supporters are gone or all the people who disagree with him are gone. And by gone, I mean dead. And I mean, that's really the way wars work. You fight until there are so many people dead that, one side says, hey, let's make an agreement, let's stop this. So how about we start by talking things out instead of fighting them out? I mean, fighting is playing into this narrative. Fighting is exactly what he wants you to do. Donald Trump has risen to power on anger, and he's only getting more popular. The more people protest, especially inside his rallies and outside his rallies, the more popular he gets, the more press he gets, the more attention he gets, and the more attention he gets for these things, and here comes a cat, the more attention he gets for these things, and that's my cat bones, the more popular he will become. And if you're really serious about not having Donald Trump as our next president, then you have to not be violent. That's the wrong approach. So, and you don't fight violence with violence. That's not a way to win. And we have to think of these other people who disagree with us as human beings. You're in your life, no matter how old you are, you're going to find a lot of people that you will disagree with, and you may disagree quite vehemently with them. But you don't go and fight someone because you have a disagreement, especially not over politics. I mean, come on. I care about politics, and I'm not going to punch somebody over it. I try not to even say mean things about them. But frankly, I think that people who are supporting Trump, there are a lot of reasons why people support Trump. He's an outsider. They normally would lean Republican. He's the Republican outsider. I mean, why do we support Bernie? I mean, he's different than all the shit that we've had throughout the years. He's an outsider. And we agree with his policy. In the case of Donald Trump, he doesn't seem to have any policy except for, I don't like, most people, most people, and I want to build a wall to keep new people I don't like out of this country. So, I mean, it doesn't have much policy, but, those those things he says are designed to bring up this fire in people. To bring up this fire, like I'm not getting treated fairly because I'm a white person who works really hard, and or maybe they want to keep their guns and they're afraid that the Democrats will take them away. I mean, Democrats have never taken away anyone's guns other than people who have done crimes with their guns. It's high. You can't do a crime with something and expect to keep it. In fact, if you're a victim of the crime, they'll keep your clothes and stuff like that. I mean, you can't do a crime and expect to keep it. And there's a lot of, I think it just comes to these silly divides, social divides. I think Donald Trump, I don't think he's really very socially conservative. But anyway, these issues are just kind of side issues designed to get people upset. And I think that Donald Trump's only tactic in this whole campaign is to get people upset and to make them angry and, to kind of rile up the more bigoted portion of our country. And, it's sad to see that there's a lot of people like that, but you're not going to reach them by punching them in the face, especially, it's just wrong to go up behind somebody and hit them. There were some videos I saw, and, I'll put a link to, one of the news articles I read, but people were coming up and just, punching people from behind. That's not even fair. This is not what we do. This is not how we win. You're not going to win over your neighbor who is maybe he's never talked to enough people of color. Women, maybe he just has not actually related to these people. And that's the really common thing I see. That's why, as a lesbian, as a woman, I try to make people understand a little bit what it's like. If they say something sexist, if they say something homophobic, I bring attention to that. But I don't say, hey, you're an asshole, you're a homophobe, I can't believe you're so sexist, fuck you, what's wrong with you, let me punch you in the face. I sometimes feel that way. I'm not going to say I don't. But I usually realize that when people come to me with these let's call them more primitive views, maybe people will be mad about that, I don't know. But when people come up to me with these views, and they say something to me that's, whatever it is. And I try to remember that they're coming from probably a place of misunderstanding, perhaps a place of ignorance, perhaps a place of habit. In history, this stuff was accepted. Part of what I think Donald Trump's slogan, "Make America Great Again," is designed to, it's kind of like a dog whistle slogan. Make America racist again. Make America sexist again. Make it so it's okay to do all these things, not get rid of this socially correct PC stuff. And he's not realizing the reason that we have this stuff is that a lot of people like myself have had careful, considerate conversations with people who have held these views and explained to them why it is a hurtful view for those of us who hear it from the other side. And it's not about, putting someone down because they said something sexist. If you take one women's studies class, you will realize you've said something sexist. I've said something sexist. Sometimes you don't realize it. I try to come with those people in a conversation and think of it like they didn't really realize that it's a sexist. They didn't, or a racist, or whatever it was. And I try to say, hey, question a little more. What did you mean by that? Did you realize that statement could come across as being homophobic? You don't want to beat people with words just because they've come and beat you with words. Now, if that was their sole intent for speaking to you, is to beat you down with their words, and of course you defend yourself. You explain to them why it's wrong. You explain to them that you just simply won't take it, but you don't punch someone. Even if they punch you, you can block them, call the police, but don't hit people. Let's not sink to the level in this country. We don't need that. We have wars going on. You want to go fight in a war. Let's not fight each other. Because at the end of the day, one of these people running is going to become our president. And, I am not going to like it if it's Trump or Hillary Clinton, to be honest. But, we have to work within the system that we have here and, not try to overthrow the country with violence by punching the people we disagree with in the face. It's just, you don't do these things. So I just want to make that statement that it's really important that we resolve our differences. And yes, protest. Absolutely protest. Social disobedience, sit on the stairs where they tell you, assemble when you don't have a permit, but don't hit anyone. Don't hit anyone. The victories in our past for all of our civil rights have not come because somebody was violent. There was violence in the 60s, and quite frankly, it hindered the cause. And it will hinder our cause again. It will divide us, and it will hinder our cause. And it will play right in to what Donald Trump wants. What's drawing his crowds is the vitriol, not only coming from him, but how mad everyone is about what he says. So don't play into it. Go there, protest, hold up a sign that says, fuck Trump. Words are words. You're allowed to speak your word, but you're not allowed to go and fight people just because you disagree. Keep it at words. Even if they're nasty words, keep it at words. And so I just want to implore everyone in this country, in fact, everyone in this world, those other people that really piss you off, they're not the devil. They're other people, and we have to fight. We have to fight our own tendency to want to demonize people who disagree with us. And the biggest thing that causes this disconnect between, hey, I'm a human, you're a human, it's not right for me to hit you, for you to hit me, it's not right. And the best thing we can do is to constantly remember that no matter, we can have the biggest asshole in front of us, but they got there somehow. They didn't, they weren't born an asshole. They got there through misunderstanding. They got there through people treating them like shit. You have to remember, a lot of these people that will victimize you were victims first. And keep that in mind. You don't excuse it. No. You don't excuse people's behavior because, oh, how sad. Someone beat them as a child. That's really sad. But it doesn't excuse you beating someone else as an adult. And so the most important thing for us to keep in mind is that the person we see in front of us who's really pissing us off is another person like we are, has a story, a reason for being there. Even if it wouldn't be something that we would do or agree with, they have a reason for being the way they are. And it really behooves us to be more constructive if we would just look at the humanity of the other person in front of us, and that we'd ask them questions to try to understand where they're coming from, and to help them understand where we're coming from. And we're really not as different as we think. And by all means, the California primary here is coming up on Tuesday. So please go out and vote. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. You can see who I'm voting for. But go out and vote, because that's how you change things. You don't change things by punching people in the face. Not in the way you want to change things. Make a difference. We have still a system where we can still have our voices heard. If it worked for people in the 60s, it worked. Black people were enslaved, and they had no power. Women couldn't vote. And both of these groups gained power, albeit way too slowly, but gained power mainly non-violently. Non-violence is what makes the difference, because non-violent, they know how to respond to our violence. Okay, they know what to do. You're violent, the cops come, they put you in jail. You were violent. If you're non-violent, well, they arrest you for being there because you didn't get a permit. But it's one of those arrests. It's one of those things where even the cops are just like, well, we have to do this. It's kind of a strange thing, but that's what changes things, because they don't know how to respond to that. All these politicians will see is, oh shit, there's a lot of people out here protesting because they don't like something that we've done. And that makes them think more than, hey, some of these people came out, they started beating people up. They understand that. That's just anger. It's just, we see that every day. People are shooting people every day. Fighting people every day. Every city, every day. That's something we see all the time. But nonviolence, that stands out. If we want to make the change and be the change that we want to see in this world, then we have to do it non-violently, because that is what stands out. So, anyway, I encourage all of you to be peaceful, encourage all of you to go out and vote if you're in California or one of the other states with a primary on Tuesday. And please